the president preparing to address the nation tomorrow evening to prepare the American people for a long campaign to destroy the terrorist group ISIS. Tonight, our new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll reveals nearly half of Americans think we are less safe than we were before 9/11. That's the highest since we started asking this question back in 2002. Our senior White House correspondent Chris Jansing on the North Lawn at the White House tonight, where the president met with congressional leaders about this ISIS threat earlier today. Chris, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. That meeting lasted almost an hour, and a senior White House official has just told me that the president asked for one specific thing from congressional leaders, and that is the authority to train the Syrian opposition. It would require a congressional vote, and although he didn't get a commitment in the meeting, House Speaker John Boehner issued a statement saying he would support the president if he chose to deploy the military to help train and play an advisory role. Now, senior diplomatic officials say time is of the essence. They believe right now that they can get a buy-in from other countries in the region to help. They have been working toward that. Also in that meeting, the president did not ask leaders to vote to authorize military action. He doesn't think he needs that. And sources say he didn't ask for additional funding for the ISIS operation either. He did outline the speech he's going to deliver tomorrow night to the American people, and the scheduling in prime time does raise the stakes. It points to both the seriousness of the threat and awareness at the White House that it's making people increasingly nervous. Brian?
All right, Chris Jansing at the White House tonight. We'll see you back there tomorrow night. And our moderator of Meet the Press and political director Chuck Todd with us here in New York with more on these new poll numbers.
Look, the spike in the 9/11 fear all comes from the coverage of the beheadings of the two American journalists, the most followed news story that we've tracked in 5 years. And that's where the anxiety level comes from. And that's why we've seen such a flip on somehow we now want to see intervention in Syria. 61% in our poll say they would like to see some military action, including 33% who would actually like to see us send combat troops. Talk about a flip. A year ago, we were talking about military strikes in Syria. Well, a year ago, only 21% wanted to do that because it didn't impact Americans. That was about chemical weapons and Assad. And then Chris just talked about the stakes for the president himself tomorrow night. He's got a major political problem on his hands. Handling a foreign policy on our poll has just plummeted. Just 32% approve of the job he's been doing, 62% disapprove. It's a huge spike this summer, and it is all about what has appeared to be unsteadiness in handling this ISIS crisis.